All right, hey guys, welcome to Traditional Bowhunting Wilderness Podcast. Jason Samkovic here. You got to forgive my voice, getting over a cold, still struggling with it a little bit here. But we're going to talk about why 2023 was absolutely the worst year I've ever had. Okay, hunting wise. Absolute, excuse me, worst year ever in history. And I broke it down. I kind of tallied it up here. There's some good, some bad. There's some interesting silver linings to take away from this. But I'm going to put this out there for you right now. Okay? I'm feeling a little beat up on it. I'm a little upset about it. And I'm a little fragile and sensitive about it. And you go making comments thinking that you're better than this, or that this would never happen to you, or that I need to stop, or I need to do something different, or shoot a different weapon, or that I need to practice more, or learn how to do. If there's any of that stuff coming, I will block you, get rid of you, and you'll never see my channel again unless you crawl upstairs and go ask your mom or your grandma for her YouTube password. I will not tolerate for them being jerks or jackasses to other people and things like that, or pissing me off, and I will get rid of you in an absolute heartbeat. If there's anything negative or asinine or stupid that comes out of your mouth in a comment section, I will just immediately delete it. You will never see my channel again, and you will be bummed out about it, or you won't. I don't care. But I'm putting it out there right now because I'm not playing any games and I'm not taking any crap. The reason I'm making this video is so that people understand the reality of what can happen. I've been a traditional bow hunter for 30 years. 30 years, and I've never had a year this bad in my life. Okay, this is crazy. But it happens. Okay, there's all sorts of variables that come into play. There's all kinds of things that go wrong. And there's a whole world of it that messes up, okay? And it's just the way it's going to be. So now with that said, so where does 2023 leave us? Okay, it's the whole year. Now, deer season here goes from September 9th, and it's still going. As a matter of fact, it's Christmas Eve as I'm recording this, and I still have 5 days of deer hunting coming up. So there's, and maybe even a hog in there if they're coming through. I'm hunting a place with bulls. So this number might change a little bit. But I think we're close enough knowing, because 2 of those days are torrential rains. I'm going to probably get out 2 or 2.5 more times if I'm lucky. So this is, I'm thinking we're pretty safe to make this video. I'm not throwing the red carpet out, but it's good enough for comparison. So, in 2023, in the freezer, I've put 9 hogs and 4 deer. Okay? Sounds like a good year, right? Okay? Good. I have missed 6 hogs and 8 deer. 7 of these deer I missed in one 5-day trip. 7 deer in a 5-day trip. Okay? But I have missed 8 deer and 6 hogs. I did not wound any deer, mortally wound. I did hit one in the elbow that kicked the arrow out immediately. If you're on my Patreon, you see all this stuff. But I hit one, caught him right in the knuckle of the elbow. He took 2 steps, flung the arrow. When I picked the arrow up, there was barely even blood on the broadhead. He's completely fine. Okay, 3 hogs I have lost. That I know are dead because they were gut shot or they were hit well, and I know they're not going to live through it. Okay, one of them I lost because of the fact that one of the WMAs I hunt closed, and I couldn't get back there the next day to go recover it, okay? So, interesting scenario there. Again, if you're my Patreon, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you just hear what I'm telling you. But, so we ended up with 3 hogs wounded, okay? No deer wounded, but, okay, let the reality set in. I killed 9 hogs, but I also missed or wounded 9 hogs. I made 9 good shots, 9 bad shots on hogs this year. On deer, I made 4 good shots, 8 bad shots, misses, okay? There's no bad shots, no wounds on deer, but I made 8 misses, 4 I actually, in 4 hits. Okay, it's pretty insane. It's never been that bad before. I will miss 2 or 3 deer a year, but you got to understand I'm hunting a lot more than most people are. As a matter of fact, let's think about that. Let's put this into perspective of this, because a lot of people might say that I missed 9 hogs, or made bad shots, but I missed 9 hogs this year, and I missed 8 deer. That's 17 arrows that I shot that did not hit their mark. 17 arrows on live animals, where realistically only 13 arrows that I shot actually hit their mark. You're right. You're absolutely right. There's no denying that. Now, some of those are deflections from sticks that I didn't see. Some of them are because they jumped a string. There's some variables in there. There's some straight up stupid misses that I've done. But point is, you're absolutely right. I have shot, I made 13 perfect arrows, but I also made 17 completely bad arrows. That's not good. Okay? That is not a good thing. Worst year I've ever had. Now, keep in mind, up until this year, my hog hunting had only been coming down for two weeks in January and then 2 weeks in February, or a week and a week in there. So it wasn't like I was hog hunting full time. Now I'm down here, I live here full time, so I'm hog hunting full time, okay, all year round. So, you know, that makes it a lot trickier. But even if you just look at the deer, take the hogs out, I made 4 good shots, and then I made 8 horrible arrows that did not hit their mark. Okay, that completely missed deer. I missed 8 deer, 6 of them, or 7 of them in 1 week, in 1 week trip. Okay, that is horrible. Now, is there a silver lining to this that kind of perks me up a little bit? Yeah, there is when you think about it. I'm 100% a public land hunter. I hunted, you know, or all this stuff down here that I'm hunting for hogs is brand new to me. Okay, I've, like I said, only spent a couple of weeks here each year trying this, and the main place I go to is I've never been at before till this year. So a lot of this stuff is new to me. Southern hunting is completely new. I've never deer hunted down here until this year. All of these things going on working against me in here, and you know, learning experiences and the learning curve to all of it. Somehow, I still managed to get shots at 18 hogs and 12 deer. That is 30 big game animals this year that I had inside of 20 yards. 30 opportunities at deer and hog that were inside of 20 yards that I had this season, this year. I'm not going to knock that. I can't say that's bad. That makes me feel really good as a hunter. Like I'm really getting dialed in and getting in on these animals. But so we got these advantages, but realistically, this year, 30 animals inside of 20 yards, 30 big game animals. Not to mention the countless, probably another 60, 70, 80 of them that were just out of range, that I didn't draw back on, that I was there, that something went wrong. They winded me, they smelt me, but I couldn't get a shot, but I was in range. So all in all, that's a pretty good year. I mean, when it comes to the hunting tactics, I'm very proud of my hunting tactics and how good I am at getting into these animals. I'm feeling it. I feel really good, really confident, and that's my booster. But this is the worst year I've ever had in history. Worst shooting I've ever done. Yet my shooting feels so rock solid. My shooting in my yard, my stump shooting, everything feels so rock solid. My groups are tight. Everything is perfect. I'm just falling apart when it comes to hunting animals, whether it's a little bit of buck fever, when it comes to not picking a spot, whatever it is, I'm struggling here. The point of all this is, if you're struggling, know that you're not alone. I know a lot of people will hide this information, will not put this kind of stuff out there. A lot of people will fake this. They won't show it. They will act like it never happened. And I understand why they do that. Like I said, right now I am feeling kicked, knocked, sensitive, angry, hurt, bummed. There's a lot of stuff when you actually look at it this way that hits hard, and it sucks. Would it have been any different numbers if I was shooting a compound? I don't think so. I honestly don't. I really don't. Because even these 3 hogs that I lost here, you know, like I said, it wasn't because my shots were that bad. It was because of the terrain I was in. You don't understand. Again, if you watch my Patreon and you learn about where I hunt hogs at and some of the places there, it'll make sense to you. If you don't understand. You have no idea. And I'm not going to explain it to you. And then as far as the misses, yeah, maybe a compound might have been a little better, but I can say at least probably 3 of the deer and probably at least 3 of the hogs I could have never shot with a compound anyway, because I would have never been able to. I could have never knocked an arrow, got it set onto a rest, kicked on a release, drew it back and got a sight set up and got lined up to get the shot before it happened. These are walking through, here's a hog, done, hog's dead. You can't do that with a compound. So no, I don't, and same with a crossbow. So no, I don't believe that a different weapon would have made much of a difference for me. Not that I care. I'm never going to be anything but a traditional bow hunter. It's what I am. But this year is my worst year on record. It's the worst year I've ever had. Maybe it's your worst year. Maybe it's not your worst year, but maybe you had a rough year. Maybe you had a rough year before. Who knows? But just know that from my example, hopefully, I hope that your year is not as bad as mine. Let me take the worst of everything that we all have. Okay, let my example be the one that makes you go, whew, my year didn't suck as bad as his. Don't put it in the comments, because I'll probably block you. Like I said, I'm pretty sensitive right now. But point being that I'm showing this, hopefully you're having a better year than this. But if you lost an animal, if you made a miss or two, if you're feeling pretty beat up, you're a little, worried about it, that kind of thing, or thinking something, whatever the case is, it's running through your mind. I probably got you beat when it comes to the worst year. Use it any way you can. I know how I'll use it. I will use it to pick a spot way more often. I will focus. I will do everything I can. I'm already in a process of it with my shot sequence. Instead of just bringing it back and forgetting everything, I am just coming back. But it's like before I even draw, I'm training myself. Before I draw my bow, lock the spot. Not see the hog and then draw and then pick the spot. No. Before I draw my bow, I'm forcing myself to literally pick that spot. So I am coming in, normally come in, draw, and then pick your spot I want to shoot. Okay, no, now it's pick that spot right there, then draw while I'm looking at it. Okay, so I'm reversing that so that I can't not pick that spot. I'm doing things to help improve this. And like I said, I miss deer every year. I miss hogs every single year. It's part of the game. I'm a traditional bow hunter. I consider myself a pretty good one, yet I still miss animals every year. Fortunately, it's clean misses because I'm not picking lines. Okay, and if it's not a good hit and I make a bad hit, 99% of the time I find those animals. You don't understand the terrain when it comes to where I'm at with some of this stuff unless you're in my Patreon. If you're in there, you understand what I'm talking about with those. But it's very rare that I lose an animal. But these numbers, they don't lie. Worst year I ever had. Hopefully that's much worse than any year you've ever had. And you can kind of, like I said, use me as a stepping stone to keep your confidence built up and know that it's going to be a great year for you next year, or the rest of your hunts are going to be fantastic. That's what I want. I want you to feel that you are not alone if you got your butt kicked. And I want you to feel that if you got your butt kicked, you probably didn't get it kicked as bad as I did. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this video, like I said, and I appreciate you watching. We'll talk to you soon.